My career has been humbling, grace-filled, exciting, and a wild ride in many ways. I mean, when you look at kind of my history, I grew up with older parents. I'm still taking care of my father who lives with me. He's 98 years old. So in some ways I have old values and new values. So I come from kind of traditional upbringing, and yet I tend to be very progressive. It helps me understand people at all ends of the spectrum. I can't say I just woke up and was going to be a social worker one of these days, or that I started out right from college doing that. I think social work kind of found me. If I had to really name it, I think social work found me, and I recognized it and said, that's who I am. And that's the profession that really fits for me. I graduated back in 1995, so I came to social work later. I was 30 when I went back to school for social work. Prior to that, I had been in ministry, youth ministry, and pastoral care type work. I knew at age 9 that I was interested in social work. My mother swears up and down that I came home and said, "Mom, I want to be a social worker." My commitment to social justice has always been strong, even from a young child. So much of what I was doing skill-wise with running groups and teaching and chaplaincy work, social work was just the natural fit for my next career. I wanted to do something with my life that had meaning and something that would help society in some sort of way. I've always been committed to those who are underserved, those who are oppressed, those who live on the limits of society. I've always had a strong sense of compassion, and I think my parents probably carved that out in me. Here at Fan Free, I have to know how to work with medical physicians, clinicians, as well as mental health clinicians, public health workers. The variety of decisions that have to get made across at least 3 or 4 disciplines is very challenging. I have to be collaborative in the way that I make decisions, so I'm always taking in information from those that I work with, those that I serve, so that I can make the best decisions. In the world of nonprofit, when you're sitting in this chair, you know, sustainability becomes the most important thing that they want the executive director to focus on. I worry at night. I worry at night about that, as every other executive director I'm sure does, about always having enough funding to do the work that needs to be done. Our journey as an organization is in an exciting place going forward, and we've got great people and great minds around the table, many of which are volunteers. Some are professors, some are in the business world, some are in the service world, but it doesn't matter where they come from. The diversity of what we have in terms of collaboratively putting our heads together about where we're going, it's exciting. So we have some new strategies coming down as a free clinic that also does mental health and also does health outreach. How do we integrate all of that, and how do we get to really good integrated care? And we have some good models here already in place that a lot of your private entities don't even have yet. So I'm excited about all of that and what that impact's going to be for our clients, and ultimately how that'll help move the needle for health in our community. I think social work is evolving and changing. I think it's challenging, and part of the reason that I think it's so challenging now is because the world's moving so fast, you know, and when we look at technology, we look at the ways that people communicate and gravitate even to each other now, it's different. There's a lot less in-person building relationships, much more is being built virtually. So I think that kind of world is our reality. And the challenge, I think, for social work now is, you know, how do we remain true to our profession, our values, our care about building relationships and the importance of the relationship and the work that we do, while also trying to manage the new tools that are out there and stay on top of, you know, changing systems that are moving quickly. I mean, just the healthcare system alone, when we look at what's happened with healthcare, to be a social worker in this arena at this time in healthcare is amazing. Trying to navigate through these waters, and which battles do you pick that you're going to advocate? How do we train new social workers in an environment that's moving very quickly, where relationships are building quickly and are not always solid relationships, and we're expected to do a lot more with less? Whether you're doing macro work at policy level, whether you're doing administration like what I'm doing here, or whether you're doing direct client work, knowing who you are and what your values are and getting yourself out of the way is always going to be important to this profession, because it is about the people or the cause that you're working with, and often we're the ones who get in the way of that. Know who you are and what you bring to the table, and know how to be present and show up for another person. I'm amazed to be getting this award, and very humbled by that, and very grateful. And grateful for all the work that NASW has done all these years and helping our profession to move forward, and looking forward to what that next step's going to be as we adapt our profession in this changing world. My work gives me energy in life. The richness for me is watching the people around me and helping the people around me utilize their gifts to help other people. There is nothing more beautiful than that for me. Watching people heal and come into themselves, I can't even put a value on that. So in terms of how I'm fed, I am fed in the work. I am fed in the work. I'm not great at the self-care thing. My self-care is really taken in the meaning of watching the people that I work with and watching clients and patients be resilient and move through life. I mean, what could be more beautiful than watching people get better?